Welcome. Please take a seat. Now, before you say anything else, I just want to make sure that I have a clear understanding of your condition. I have been provided with a report stating that you have a condition, notably a mystical condition, not a medical or physical, but in any way, it impairs your communication in the clear fashion that your voice is a resonating or resophonic guitar that most commonly people in the bluegrass community would refer to as a dobro. Is that correct? Good. Now, is there any other problem with your communication besides the fact that you talk entirely in resonating guitar tones? I see. So, if I understand what you're trying to communicate, everything you do becomes dobro resonating resophonic guitar sounds. And this includes written or typed communication. Yeah, if you want to draw something, that's pretty fine. I don't understand what this means. It looks like just dots and oh, I think I understand what's going on. So you mean everything comes out as sheet music. So if you write something down, it immediately is translated into sheet music and musical tones. I'm getting it now. Okay. And if you type something out, if you type something on a computer or on a phone, what happens? Same thing. So it becomes sheet music as well. Okay. You can hear everything I say just fine, but when you try to communicate in any form or manner, it magically changes, and whether it's written or not, it then becomes musical communication. All right. Glad that we have clarified this. No, that is not a deal breaker. We are working on our abilities for accommodation for other individuals with unique communication difficulties. This just means that this interview will be a little different than others. I may ask different questions out of order. I may need you to repeat your answers a few times if I don't understand them the first time. Just for full clarification, I am a professionally trained in body language and body language reception, as well as other non-verbal methods of communication. And trust me, you are not the only non-verbal individual that I have interviewed for this field agent position here. Yes, I understand that for you it is verbal, but it just comes out sounding like a resonating guitar. I have extensive alien linguistic training and translation of alien languages, but I am not a language expert. I am a communication expert. So getting word for word may be difficult, but understanding the basic common nature of the question is what will help me the most. Now, this is the first interview. There will be more interviews if you pass our criteria. This interview is being recorded, and I will be typing extensive and sometimes excessive notes, so do not be alarmed. Just because I'm typing does not mean that you need to stop talking. I mean, resonating. My typing should not affect or impact your answers in any way, so if I stop or start typing, please just keep talking or singing or playing. Now, if you don't mind, I am going to skip some of our normal introduction and get straight to some of the deal breaker questions for this position, seeing as we may struggle with some of the more normal behavioral personality-based questions with more open-ended answers. And to make sure we don't run out of time for the first interview, I would appreciate your complete and honest compliance with these answers, no matter how unusual or bizarre they may appear. Your answers are very important for me because based on your answers, this will help me also learn more about your language and how it works. And it'll help me begin to translate your answers for some of the more in-depth or open-ended behavioral and personality-based questions. So Most of these will be yes or no answers, and I am looking for that confirmation of what a yes sounds like and what a no sounds like. But if you want to elaborate, please sing, talk, and play to your heart's content. All right? Thank you. So let's start off with some of the easiest questions, in my opinion. Can you pass a background check, both federal and state? Can you pass a drug test? We do regular random drug screen testing at a federal level. That does include marijuana. Can you pass a physical and psychiatric test? They are similar to military requirements. Can you use a forklift? Do you have a forklift certification? No, that doesn't disqualify you from the position if you did or didn't. But I do have to ask these questions. Do you have any tattoos or piercings that you would not be willing to have removed? Do you have any concerns with any of the following? It would be helpful if you answered after each one with just a yes or no. Do you have any concerns with arachnophobia? Any concerns with heights? Any concerns or issues with enclosed spaces, bright lights, being in total darkness, strobing light effects, loud noises? Do you have any motion sicknesses? Do you have any issues or concerns with being frozen or placed in a cryostasis chamber? Do you have any concerns with avian type creatures? All right. Do you have any concerns with things that you do not think exist? Let me repeat the question. Do you have any concerns with things that you do not think exist? Okay. Do you have any concerns with being lost in time and space? Do you have any issues with space travel? Any issues regarding dimensional disorders of paranormal abnormalities and temporal continuity collisions of an echoing oblivion that distorts cognitive cohesion of events? Good. Some more unusual questions now. Have you ever thought about or wished that you would fall asleep and not wake up? Can you keep a secret? Do you have a license to carry a concealed weapon? What is your experience with weaponry, guns, ammunition, or explosives? What is the darkest secret you have ever kept? How would you fight a vampire? How would you fight a zombie? How would you fight a ghoul? How would you fight a ghost? How would you fight a mummy? How would you fight a dragon? How would you fight a chupacabra? How would you fight a yeti? How would you fight an extraterrestrial? Yeah, how would you fight an alien? How would you describe your personality? What is your favorite color? Why? What is your favorite song? What is your favorite form of transportation? Who is your mentor or role model? What is the best and or worst piece of advice you have ever received? How about you start with the best piece of advice you have ever received? And the worst piece of advice you've ever received. If you could have any dream job, what would it be? What are your hobbies, interests, or special skills? What is your favorite word? What is your favorite year you have been alive? Tell me about something that happened to you before you were 12 that you think had more of an impact on who you are today than anything else. Well, that sounds quite sad, actually. What is your favorite pair of socks? Can you use chopsticks? Dogs or cats? Why are you anxious? Interesting. What is under your bed? To clarify, do you play guitar? So are you able to harmonize with the instrument you're playing? Like, so you can vocally be playing guitar and while also playing guitar. What is the last book you read? Do you have a favorite form of currency? What is the highest number you have counted to aloud? What is the worst haircut you have ever had? Would you be friends with a clone of yourself? Why or why not? Have you borrowed something and then never gave it back? If you could rename any of the months of the year, which one would you rename and what would you name it? What is the weirdest thing you've posted on the internet? What is your phone number backwards? How many front doors are in New York City? Let me repeat the question. How many front doors are in New York City? Why? No, not why are there that many front doors. Why do you think that is the number of front doors in New York City? Tell me about a time when you did not want to go to work. What were you thinking or feeling? Why did you not want to go to work? Or why did you go to work anyway? On a scale of 1 to 10, how uncomfortable are you right now? On a scale of 1 to 10, how uncomfortable are you right now? What is something that you always forget exists? If you could immediately change anything about yourself, what would it be? That actually makes a lot of sense. What about yourself are you currently working to improve and change? What is your favorite of the 7 deadly sins? Let me clarify. Which of the 7 deadly sins is your favorite? Just to make sure we're on the same page. The 7 deadly sins: lust, envy, pride, greed, sloth, wrath, gluttony. Which of the 7 deadly sins is your favorite? What color is your aura? If you don't know, then you don't know. If you weren't an animal, what animal would it be? What is your favorite spice or seasoning? How would your life change if you won $1 million today? How does it matter? If suddenly $1 million were deposited in your account for some reason. What was your first impression about me? What is the worst assumption that you had about me? How do you feel about expiration dates? What is an animal that you refuse to believe exists? What should everyone have in their car? What 3 things do you take with you on an abandoned island? What would you refuse to do no matter how much money? There's no amount of money, no price that could be paid for you to do this thing. What is your favorite oxymoron? Why? Oh, I think I know that one. Sounds kind of familiar, sort of like Act Naturally by Buck Owens or the Beatles. Am I right? Sounded familiar. What is something that you have started? What is something that you have finished? What new things have you tried? What did you wear that to this interview? Well, it isn't really our normal standard dress code, but there's nothing wrong with it. But why did you choose to wear that to this interview? What is something that you obsess over? What are you addicted to? What do you think about non-stop, days on end, that you can never get enough of? What consumes your very being that you live, eat, breathe, to become, devour, and destroy because you crave the information and expertise in that field that your curiosity can never be satiated with? All right, well, thank you for your time. If you don't mind, please leave a comment with the front desk. And after doing that, don't forget to hit the bell on your way out of the building. Don't worry about hearing back from us. If you are accepted for this position, we will find you and bring you in. If you are not accepted, do not worry. You will not have any memory of this location, position, or interview. Thank you for your time. Have a good day and sleep well.